What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It's your boy coming to say, hey, hope you're doing okay. Not just today, but every day. All right, we're halfway through the week, everybody. Listen, as much negativity as we have in this world right now, last week, next year, last century, let's let's try to do a little bit of positive. Let's come here, at least discuss these issues, come together. You're always welcome to come up on here anytime you want, the panel wise. We can discuss things. I love to get pushback. I love to get other people's views, insights. I'm not going to sit here and ridicule you. I'm not going to sit here and try to sit here and argue with you. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I want to know how real people feel. I want to know what's going on. And I'm not trying to intrude on your own personal life. No, 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 no. It's got nothing to do with that at all. That's not what I'm about. I just want there to be a dialogue, an open line of communication, whether it be through me and you as a start, a building of a foundation to get others to build into a community that I think that, not only myself, but others have common principles, values, and beliefs that we could all agree upon to a degree. And if not, then we can try to work things out, even though I hate using the word try because trying is a mild form of failure. We don't need to try, we need to do. And with that, let me give a shout out to my boy, my friend, my new friend, my homeboy Alejandro. Nothing but great things to say about Alejandro. I wish him, his wife, his family, nothing but the best. Give him a big shout. It's awesome to meet a new friend. It's awesome to have somebody that I could talk to and, somebody that actually listens. And, you know, it's really nice. Thank you, Alejandro. Still nothing but love to the smaller channels out there. 89 Tools. You got Louis Automotive out there. You got my boy and sexist Magic Mike doing his thing nonstop. And these are channels that will give you good information and help you possibly figure out what's going on without just throwing a bunch of parts on something and hoping, whatever that you throw sticks. Because in most cases, it doesn't work that way. But with that being said, before I get into, let me get over here and do the things that I like to do. A little bit of music, a little bit of that background, but not too much. Not too much. I'm not trying to drown myself out, not necessarily, at least not yet, unless you need me to. And one more thing we're going to do is we're going to add Instagram real quick. This just take me a second, gang, so just bear with me. And you know what? I will delight you with a couple of things that I need to do regardless. Number one, this nonsense.
On Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, we're all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. On Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, where all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah, on Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, where all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah. Yeah. On Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, where all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah, on Mad Max TV, we talk about it all, from touchdowns to controversies big and small. Come join our community, where all are welcome. From sports to the mysterious, there's no boredom. Open your mind, embrace the unknown. Yeah.
In the world right now, tonight, but here you are, right here with me, and I thank you for it. Truly, from the bottom of my heart, sincerely, no doubt, no cap, no lie, no BS. Okay? I'm serious. I'm for real. So, does anybody want to start with? Oh, I got a comment right here. Sorry, I was going on here. I apologize. Excuse me. Okay, well, where we got here? Of course. Alejandro here, ready for the stream, brother. What's up, brother? That's what I'm talking about. How, Alejandro, I have a hope that individuals get an opportunity to meet another individual like Alejandro. Wonderful, wonderful individual. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'm not just saying that because he did anything. He was himself. He was genuine. He was authentic. He was relatable. And you know what? Sometimes that's all we need. And he was very rational, level-headed, working hard, doing what a lot of people aren't doing. And that's a problem. And that's a problem. Which is kind of why we're here tonight. And I'm going to get into that. Still getting this figured out. I was running late. I don't have any excuses. You know how I am. I don't want to make excuses because that's the easy way out. We don't do that. Let me switch this to that. And what I'm going to do is make myself little for just a minute. And I'm going to move you just a moment, Alejandro, so I can do this, get in this layout so you don't have to watch me the whole time. But let's go with, no, let's not go with that. We've talked about the cost of living, and I touched on this with Alejandro when he was over here earlier. Whether it be inflation, whether it be the rise in the cost of living, the cost of goods, the cost of necessities, if we go back to the fourth quarter of 2021, where we were at an all-time high. Okay, 9.1%. Okay. Now, at the end of the fourth quarter in 2025, I believe in March, actually, this year, if I'm not mistaken, we were at 3.1%, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me, but this is going off memory. And at this point in time, the memory's not the greatest because I'm on a little bit of medication, and that is not an excuse. That is just the facts. But here I am, as promised. Since I made that promise, I'm going to be here on Wednesday. Short of me getting assassinated by a crooked-ass government, which I would never say about our government, but I would never do that shit to myself, is what I am saying. Anyway, so when you need to not devalue yourself. You need to be able to stand your ground, both feet in, 10 toes deep, and make sure that you're firm and do not devalue yourself. Do not let people try to devalue you and gaslight you into thinking that you're only worth this much. You're asking for way too much for you to run our multi-million-dollar corporation and company. You want $28? Are you crazy? Yeah, I'm crazy because I want to try to be able to not only, I don't know, live, but maybe make it a little bit easier so I don't have to work 2 jobs, plus my spouse has another 2 jobs, and we're still not able to get caught up, let alone get ahead. That was the American dream that we were sold as far as my generation is concerned. Now, did that work out? Yes and no, because I'm in the greatest country in America, or in the world, that being America. Now, does that mean America has no problems? Absolutely not. I got a host of them right here for you to comprehend and look at. Don't devalue yourself. So if you're working for somebody and they're not giving you a minimum of 6%, that's right, that's double. I'm calling it double of what a raise would be. This 3%, you're not going to ever get anywhere near caught up. Mathematically, it's impossible. The numbers aren't going to lie. Now, the people giving you the numbers, they're going to lie to you all day long, but that's kind of their job. But the numbers, as long as they're not being manipulated, they're not going to lie. So what does that mean? That means that 6% is going to get you closer to reaching that ridiculous number of inflation that's at 29% right now, which basically, if you want to look at it like this, you can. A dollar is not a dollar. A dollar is actually 70 cents. Yes, we continue to devalue the dollar, and when we print more of this paper, guess what happens? We devalue it even more. The petrodollar, which we are supposed to be on for some reason, to my knowledge, that was the standard at this point. That's where we're at. That's where we were at. Forget about the gold standard. That's been long gone. If there's gold, nobody's seen it in a long time, and nobody's been in Fort Knox in a long time. Long time. But there again, would you really put all the gold and all? Would you put everything in one pile and just leave it there? Or would you use that in way of deflection and make it look like a stronghold that's impenetrable, as an illusion, as a disguise? Just something to think about. I'm not saying that's it, but you know what? This is kind of that conspiracy theory kind of show. And that's not me being a demon. What you see is the United States of America starting to fracture, starting to crack, and starting to be exposed. And a lot of it has to do with it coming from inside. It's not me destroying America. It's me trying to let you know that America is not only are people falling on hard times, families falling on hard times, communities, cities, towns, states, what have you, falling on hard times. At this point, it's the entire nucleus, the entire country. Everything is just falling apart. And what's worse is it's self-inflicted stupidity for the most part. Back to the 6%. You get to that 6%, you can double the wage or weight wage increase, i.e. raise. And instead of doing it on an annual basis, I think minimum you're talking biannually. Twice a year you get reviewed, and it's based on meritology, period. You are there every day. You're above a certain percentage of efficiency, depending on what it is that you're doing. You don't call in. You're never late. You're early. You'll stay late. You'll work through lunch. You'll do whatever it takes. Not because you're a company man, but because your parents, whoever it is in your life that influenced you, that you looked up to, etc., instilled that in you. You have what's called work ethic, and work ethic goes a long way. Work ethic is something AI will never be able to replace. If you don't have a good work ethic, nobody taught you a good work ethic, then you got a lot to learn and you're behind. Okay? So that's groceries, cost of goods, bills going up, and the fact that though we are at a low, since it's been at a high from 2022, like I told you, fourth quarter 9% plus, down to it's either 3.1. I'm pretty sure it's 3.1 as of March of this year. That doesn't reflect the cost of goods, consumables that people need, necessities, if you will, stupid things like food, milk. What's that other thing that's kind of important? Water, and pretty much anything else, sustenance. And then we get these substitute teacher food products that we don't know if they're real, we don't know if they're fake, and no one is going to tell us the truth. It's just not in their best interest. Whether or not you want to believe me, you can look this up and research it yourself all day and all night. It's true. I'm not here to sit here and make up lies. You can fact check me all day till you're blue in the face. But it is illegal for a corporation to not make money for its shareholders, even at the expense of the consumer. And I've told you this repeatedly. I didn't start making a single YouTube video until after I was injured at work while working. Not because I was unsafe, not because I didn't take every precaution, but because I was in an unsafe place and with unsafe equipment, managers and management, and didn't give a shit about anything other than making sure assets continue to move in and out of bays. That simple. But that's another story for another day that we hopefully get done with before I have no ability to walk whatsoever. And I want to do things like, have that first dance with my daughter when she gets married, things like that, be able to go to the wedding, just ridiculous things that you want to be able to do as a father, as a parent, just like anybody else. I'm no different than anyone else when it comes to that. So we've understood, I hope now to this point, the cost of goods, the cost of living, the fact that the wages and the minimum wage is a joke. I don't even want to get into that. It hasn't went up since 2009. We're talking about 2026 going out to 2027 in less than 4 months. Christmas time, big shopping, Halloween's coming up, Thanksgiving's coming up. And you know what all these holidays have in common, aside from the fact that, they were purpose driven at one point, but now they become just a ploy to get you to spend money as a consumer, with which you are trained to be from day one. You are taught just enough to be useful in society, depending on what it is that you do. If you want to take that extra step, it's going to cost you some money because you got to go to school to get a degree, to get a chance to get your foot into a door, maybe, as long as artificial intelligence hasn't taken your job yet. But if that's the case, then what's the point of going to school and going into some career that isn't going to be able to keep up, or you're going to be able to keep up with, because AI will do your job without complaining, without calling in sick, be considerably more efficient, and take out the human factor in it and just conduct business based on what somebody wrote an algorithm for, until the AI algorithm writes itself and then perfects it to another degree. Is it Skynet? I don't know. I don't know if we're living in 1984, a brave new world. I have no idea if we're sitting here and it's Fahrenheit 451. It's not the point. All I'm telling you is we've gone backwards and digressed as the most powerful, the most looked to, the most revered country in the world. And it's still the best country, but it's got a lot of problems and we need to correct them sooner than later. I apologize, comments. I don't mean to annoy you. I get on my tangent. If I say anything, then you just tell me to shut up. I definitely agree. Wages are ridiculous for today's economy. Absolutely. Absolutely. And, the powers that be are well aware of this. They know that to be able to survive, you need to be able to have a good wage. And by a good wage, I don't mean a wage that's going to be sufficient enough to get you through next week, especially if you have a family and you have goals and ambition to purchase a home, to invest in yourself, take a chance, and go into business for yourself, whatever the case may be. Everything seems to be a little more difficult and made to be a little more difficult for no good reason. I hope what I said makes sense. And if it's the American dream, and this is why we're all here, and we're supposed to share and prosper in this economy in the United States, where a century ago economists thought that we had 3-day work weeks, and as far as money goes, we'd have no use for it. That's it. Simple as that. We would just have a purpose, and our purpose would consist of a 3-day work week to continue to contribute and maintain, and didn't quite work out that way. Is it corporate greed? Is it private equity firms? Is it holding companies? Is it a combination of all the above plus mismanagement of what they do because you have no business being into a business you know nothing about? Let the people that know what they're doing do their work. I don't want to call it a job because in most cases it's a career, and some people would have no idea about what a career is because I've never had one. So, I know it's a lot. And if I get off in the weeds, just let me know. But that's just the way it happens. And, conspiracy theory or not, some things aren't a conspiracy. Some things are just right there in plain sight. You don't have to look too hard to figure out if something's wrong or if it's right. And if you got to think that hard about it, then there's a good chance you go old school. And what is that? You go with your gut. At this point in time, you know the difference between right and the difference between wrong. You know what you should and what you should not be doing. Now, does that mean you should always maintain a calm, cool, steady, level head? Sure. In theory, in practice, that's a whole nother story. It doesn't always work out that way because it's a lot more difficult than you think. And everybody's situation is different. Not everybody has the same blueprint and the same thing going on in their life. And without knowing and looking into their mind to figure out what that may be, you'll never know. And don't just jump to conclusions and assume, kind of like a large language model would, i.e. AI. Don't do that. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth your energy. Find something more productive and better because it's not going to help you and it's not going to get anywhere. And we'll get to another part of it. What do we got here? What do you think about the aliens? You think they will show themselves to the world soon? They might have already, and we wouldn't even have known it. And if you wanted me to be perfectly honest, I'm sure that there are advanced life forms, whether they be ultra terrestrials, extraterrestrials, interterrestrials, whether they're living underneath the deepest part of the ocean that we have yet to explore, or whether they're just enhanced human beings that are living in Antarctica in some secret Nazi base from the Second World War that was found by a admiral that was credible. Admiral Byrd is who I'm referring to. Uh, I think this, and I'm not the only one to think this, but I think that, let's say they're aliens, right? Let's say that there are life forms outside of this planet that are not native, perhaps, to this planet and came here and they've just maintained, kind of a low key, low profile type thing. They're just sticking to themselves. Now, everybody can have their own opinion about this, and I love talking about it. You can think what you want. But I don't think that if we are as advanced as we are, and mind you, when it comes to technology and certain things, we are considerably more advanced than even a year ago, 2 years ago, a decade ago, 2 decades ago. And that's normal. And some people say that the tech revolution is the modern industrial revolution. But here's the thing: the industrial revolution solved a problem by making it easier and more efficient and effective for work to get done and help build a country, to help build a nation, to help start an economy. But what it did, and nobody was able to truly foresee this, obviously, in hindsight being what it is, there's nothing that you could do to change things. But when the same technology that you had during the Industrial Revolution, where manufacturing was king and you were able to utilize people, people had a purpose, and the purpose made them feel good. They might not have been making $1 million per year, but they were able to put food on their table. They were able to have a home. They were able to own their vehicle. They were able to go on a vacation. They were able to take their wife out to dinner, their kids, clothes shopping, or whatever the case may be. It makes no difference what it is. So once that manufacturing started going offshore or near shore, which is the exact same thing, which I mentioned before, the only difference is the distance, but it's still not here on American soil. And it's not a knock against China, and it's not a knock against Mexico. They're taking, they're doing the same thing, but at a different level. You can call it exploitation of wages, or you can call it being in a system to where you're kind of forced to work and be a productive member of society. If not, there's really not a purpose for you. And if you do not serve a purpose, we do not need you. Therefore, you become a little bit more and more visible. At some point, you become completely transparent and nobody could see anything at all. You cease to exist to some people. But it is what it is. I wish that upon nobody, but inevitably you got to come to reality that not all that glitters is gold. Let me get back over here because I forgot that I had a couple other fun little things that I haven't messed with in a minute. So let me see if I can still. Oops. Nope, wrong button. Question is, why are you not wanting to cooperate with me? It's always something, isn't it? It's always something. And anyway, so back to what I was saying. Yeah, we need, I'm not over here telling you to be a revolutionary or do anything to incite any kind of violence or to necessarily, I'm not telling you to do bad things or harm people or, if you want to grab the attention of large corporations and companies, then you have to understand that you are a line item and that line item is either going to help that company grow and make money, or they will not. Now, if you can find a way to make yourself invaluable, you got nothing to worry about. So you would think. But even then, you're still a line item with these companies. So the only way that you need to communicate the fact that what you feel may be wrong, and it's not just you. I feel a lot of things are wrong, and we'll just go ahead and go into the raising the bar for these YouTube monetization requirements. Why? What's the purpose of it? To discourage creators to not want to create, to have somebody invest time, energy, effort into something that's never going to amount to anything? What is the purpose? If for me, I'm here because I truly enjoy doing this. Whether I make a single cent or not, I could care less. It's not why I'm here. That's not why I'm here. I never, growing up, I never said to myself, man, I hope I can make it as a YouTube content creator. I don't consider myself a content creator. I'm just a guy that's talking about regular stuff that affects us all, whether it be here in the United States, which is where my primary focus is, because I am here in the United States. And my fellow countrymen and women are who I care about the most. So that doesn't, mean just one race of the same species. It means all of us, because we're all in this together. And like I said, you want to grab the attention of these large corporations. When you realize that you're a line item, you make that line item start cutting into their bottom dollar, and then you will see possibly a little bit more proactivity. And I don't want to beat this YouTube thing to death, because there's so many videos about it. It doesn't. I turn YouTube on right now and I hear about it. YouTube, they did this. I can't believe it. It's a calculated risk, because ultimately what it does, like I said, you're not going to sit here and work for free. No one is going to work for free. Okay. And if you consider this a job or a long-term job interview, then you're looking at it the wrong way. If you're here for leisure activity, for just whatever, your agenda is you come on, you talk about what you want to talk about, and you're good. That's it. All right. But I don't want to say circle back, but to finish off on the alien thing, I think this much. If you have alien life that is not on this planet or in our known solar system, okay, the Milky Way here, the galaxy, whatever you want to call it, where we are in the universe, traveling, that we can't feel, of course. But anyway, I think that if there is life out there on a different planet that we have no idea of, then they are probably right at the same level of technology that we are at. And as technologically advanced as we are, I don't believe that we're at that level. Do I think we landed on the moon? Yes. Do I think it was a hard pill to swallow and still to a lot of people? Yeah. But I'll tell you what, that'd be a hell of a secret to keep. And on top of that, you think Russia would want to be undone when these two fools, the Soviet Union and the United States, are at each other's throats? No. You know what the Cold War did? It made people that are building bunkers and selling you MREs just in case there's a nuclear war between the two superpowers, that you're going to be able to survive a nuclear fallout for, X amount of time. Fear mongering, it hasn't changed. They just changed the rules and changed the game a little bit. That's all. Kind of like news. The information they're putting out, I hate to be the one to tell you these things, but Somebody's got to be honest with you. What you hear in the news is not necessarily the truth, or you're getting a half truth, or you're getting a mistruth. In many cases, depending on what they're reporting and how biased they are, you can have an affirmative and a negative, and you can lean heavily towards one and not the other and just give one side of a story. And at that point, you're not being objective, you're just being biased and subjective. But like I said, just another thing that the news is able to get away with and do legally, and there is nothing that you or me can do about it short of say it with me, stop feeding the machine. I'm not going to play him tonight, I'm not going to do it now, but if you listen to Robert Kennedy's speech about 3 months prior to his assassination, just listen to that speech 3 months prior to his assassination, and then listen to the speech that Eisenhower gave when he was talking about the military industrial complex and or compound, whatever you want to call it. At this point, we're talking about the same things, and that's just semantics, so it doesn't make all that much of a difference. But listen to those two speeches and tell me that hasn't come into fruition and hasn't slowly been coming into fruition over the course of the last, I don't know, what is it, 70 plus years. So don't be fooled, don't be distracted by things that don't matter. Monetization on YouTube, if that's your biggest concern in life, then you know what? You're doing okay. If that's the only thing you got to worry about, then you got little to nothing to worry about. There's actual things that are important, or more important, in my opinion. And here's one. Do you like being spied on and surveilled on? Is that okay with you? Did you consent to that? Did you sign anything that said, hey, I want to go ahead and let you track me, even though you have no reason to, for the sheer fact that you can? No, I do not consent, and I will not comply. Now, I am not going to sit here and destroy any property that is in mine, nor am I going to destroy my property. No. Why? Because that costs, we're going to end up paying for it again because it's going to put it right back up. That's like saying, oh, well, why am I going to take a shower and just going to get dirty again? Well, it's not really the same kind of comparison, but at the same time, why pass a cost on that you could avoid when there's no need for it and it's not going to solve your problem? It's just going to make you look like an animal. That's it. And believe me, I've looked like an animal many a time. I'm not proud of it. It's not anything I'm bragging about. It's shameful, and I apologize. As long as you understand that the apology that I give is based on me feeling that I may have done something wrong, because it goes against whatever principles that I stand on and believe in. So, like I said, YouTube doing what they're doing, whatever. They're not the end all be all say all. There are plenty of social media networks out there. And believe me, yeah, YouTube, if you want to make a difference in YouTube, don't reach out to these larger channels and larger creators, because they're going to listen. If you want to get YouTube's attention, stop watching. Stop being a consumer. That's the easiest way about getting your point across. Have I heard about police drones being enforced now around? Yeah. They've been doing it for a while here. They've been doing it for so long. Yeah, they want eyes on us. They want to know where we go. They want to know our patterns. They want to know everything that they can possibly know about us. They know quite a bit about us already. Here's a fact that I don't know how many people know. AT&T. Who's got AT&T? Raise your hand. A lot of people have AT&T. I have AT&T. Now, it doesn't matter whether you have AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Mint Mobile, Consumer Cellular, makes no difference. AT&T is probably one of the worst ones because they've been doing it for the longest, but they're also probably one of the, you know, longer established, excuse me, longest established conglomerates in this country. And they've been working with the government since they've been around, collecting metadata on you every time, anytime, all the time, nonstop, 24 hours a day. And that's what they do. Well, why do they want the metadata? Why don't you ask them? They won't give you an answer. If it were up to me to guess, they take that metadata, they put it together, and they basically they try to figure you out and try to know you better than you know yourself. Flock cameras and the drones. Yeah, Flock is a company that was started by some guys that made a camera that was able to help some detective in Georgia solve a crime, and now they're all over the place. So Flock is the brand, but even the people that started this, the Flock camera, they're almost. I'm pretty sure they're regretful of it because it's counterintuitive. Because there's no, unless you want to police the Flock camera system and have somebody checking it, it's just an intrusion of our privacy. Whether or not it's a legal search and seizure, which is what the Fourth Amendment is, I'm not sure about that part. But infringing on my privacy and other people's privacy without just cause, reasonable cause, or any cause at all, no, that is not okay. And nobody that I've spoken with has said, I think that's a pretty good idea. I don't know why we haven't thought about that earlier. No, nobody's going to say that because nobody thinks that. That's absolutely asinine, insane, idiotic, and that is not the case. And it's not even a conspiracy. At this point, you can see the fucking Flock cameras. Excuse my language, but no, don't excuse my language. If you can't handle a few bad words now and again, listen. It's not that I'm stuck in my way, but everybody's got a different constitution, and using a little bit of foul language is actually therapeutic. It's been proven. You can look it up and find out your own. There have been studies done on it. So if you sit here, go on a rant, and you tirade, whatever, you're using bad words, it's good because though it might not sound like it, and you might not agree with it, but it's a very productive way to alleviate stress and frustration just by using foul language. Don't have to believe me. Look it up yourself. Don't worry about it. It's wild. But yeah, privacy, and this is just what we know about. I think I made a short a couple of days ago about the technology that was supposed to have been mandatory in all 2027 and newer vehicles. Well, as you know, or whether you don't know, I'll tell you this: the technology has not yet been developed. So the 2027 model year is not going to have this new technology based on what we've been told. Now, are they being honest with us? Don't know. Couldn't tell you. You let me look at a vehicle and I can tell you no problem. In certain vehicles, there are things you could do, especially the older ones, to where that wasn't necessarily the purpose, or so they say it wasn't the purpose. And I've said this before. Originally, it was an EDC or engine data controller or computer or engine data module, EDM. There's several three-letter acronyms that you can use to describe it, but the original purpose, as stated, was to monitor the deployment of airbags. So since the early 90s, this technology was implemented in vehicles, and as to whether or not that's the reason they're doing it, don't know. But at the same time, what's to stop somebody from taking advantage of that Flock camera system and using it to do things that would could consider suspect. We'll call it that way, because believe me, as you know, no good deed goes unpunished, and even the best intentions have the worst of consequences at times. And nobody wants to have their privacy infringed on. Nobody needs to sit here and be micromanaged by their government. Next thing, you're never going to have a social credit score, and it's just going to be China 2.0 minus manufacturing, which we need to bring back. I'm just going to say that again. You bring back manufacturing, you bring back jobs. Oh, you're going to destroy the environment. If that's the case, and we're destroying the environment so much, how come the damage and the destruction and the toll of a natural disaster has far more implications on the environment than what a man-made disaster does? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, oh, I don't know, an earthquake, a tsunami. I'm just saying, a volcano eruption. You know what I mean? Those do much more to the environment than building and manufacturing something. If you're building and manufacturing something, it doesn't matter where you're doing it. The only person that's truly benefiting off of it, though, is the one that's got the manufacturing plants. And they own a monopoly on it, because so few things are manufactured in this country. We've sold everything out, all of it. And then the countries, or what's left of America, that's owned by American companies, they don't care about the brands that they own. It's just added to their portfolio, whether you want to call it a bolt-on, whether you want to call it just something so they could add to the portfolio to say that they've got it. Makes no difference. Makes no difference. But that's what it is. Essentially, that's exactly what it is. And the sooner that you understand that, the better. So the fly camera thing is not a conspiracy. It's a real thing. The drones, like Alejandro said, those are a real thing. These are not made up things. You can buy fly cameras. I think there's over 120,000 of them that we know of and counting. They're not going anywhere. Then the RF, the radio frequency, whatever. You can work with frequencies and do certain things, but as far as cameras and what they're able to do and the speed they're able to do it with the recognition technology that they have, that's a little bit more difficult. Yeah, there's things I can do, but I don't want to tell you what they are, because I don't want to get my channel taken down again, or the other one taken down again. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But no, it's not a conspiracy, and yes, it's a real thing, and it's being done for good intentions, but unfortunately, not all good intentions are what they seem. Not right away. Just like the Industrial Revolution probably didn't intend for this to be the outcome of it, us relying heavily on technology, on AI. The more we have to rely on a technology, the less we have to think. Whether the literacy rate doesn't prove it, whether or not the fact that we're not able to have the same type of language skills as we did a century ago. We don't speak the same. None of us, but a lot of us don't speak proper English. It's not, just you and you and you and you and you and you. I'm just as guilty as anybody else. And I'm not trying to sound smart. I don't have anything stripped. When I go on live, I go on live. I hate making videos. I want to go on live because I want the interaction. That's what I want, because I think you and everybody else has something to say, and I got to get it out. So there's that. So we've covered the cost of goods. We've covered inflation. We're going to print more money, which is going to devalue the dollar even more. We sold out this country and the manufacturing. We've offshored, we've nearshored, which doesn't make any difference to us because we don't have any real manufacturing left. The companies that used to have manufacturing, for the most part, either got bought out, split up, and diverted or divested elsewhere. And what those core companies had in way of manufacturing has either been shuttered and is no longer here, and or it's simply, you know, isn't coming back. Or if it does come back, it's going to be with the, it's going to be a fight, but it is absolutely necessary if you want this America, this United States to be great, to maintain greatness, and be that beacon of hope, that shining light way off in the yonder. You got to be able to see the forest past the trees, and there's America. But America wants you to work hard, and there's nothing wrong with that part of it. And like I said with YouTube, if you look at YouTube and that was what you thought your meal ticket was going to be, and you were going to go viral because you had one video and it got 10,000 views, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's not even a drop in the bucket. So do it because you like it. Do it because you want to. Don't do it because you think you're going to get monetized. If you get monetized, great, but do it for the right reason. Just don't do it just because. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it because you're going to get monetized. Because what's going to happen is that you're going to get discouraged if it doesn't happen. And if you enjoy making videos, make videos. Even if you don't get a lot of views, make videos. And like I said, there's other alternatives out there. If you go to Rumble, 5 subscribers is what you need. And after that, that's it. You can get monetized. If they use your stuff, you will get monetized. There's a very large audience in Rumble, and the censorship or lack thereof that they have is an excellent alternative. They have Rumble Studio, which can easily replace, and I've used it before, StreamYard or Restream and whatever else that you're paying for, and it's absolutely free. So it's an option, and I honestly think that what YouTube did is going to do exactly that. It is going to dissuade people from this platform that had every intention on working hard and getting monetized, but now making it that much more difficult has it's discouraged them, and they don't know whether it's worth putting in that much work and effort into putting a video together, or a long form video, short form video, a live, whatever it may be, when you'll never get that time back. Whereas you go to a different platform. I don't have a TikTok, so I can't speak for them. I don't have a Snapchat. I don't have a Truth Social. I don't know what their policies are, but I got nothing but good things to say about Rumble. X, it's a different beast, different crowd. Twitch and Kick, same thing. All these platforms, they're just all a little bit different. But at no point, Facebook, Instagram, I don't have a Snapchat, so you're asking the wrong guy about that too. But all these social media networks, you have many options. Don't get discouraged about this whole YouTube thing. Don't waste any more energy than thinking about it. Next, we've discussed the privacy. We've discussed the cost of goods. We've discussed inflation. We've discussed how difficult it is to get a job. And I'll tell you what, I had 2 job interviews. Me, I'm disabled. I've got people calling me and asking me to come out and see if I wanted a job, and they're offering me good money. And I had a couple interviews, but then they realize I'm disabled, and I disclose that because I'm not going to sit here and lie to somebody. I can't sit here and work on a vehicle or be efficient anymore and be able to make money, even if you put me on regular time. And as much as I may know, and as much information and knowledge as I may have, you're not going to pay for a broken product. And when I say broken, it's not mentally, it's physically. So you're not going to pay premium for a broken product, no matter how well it still may function though it might not be able to work anymore. It just simply isn't going to happen. And that's just real, is, that's just realistic. And I didn't plan on being disabled. I don't think anybody hopes or wishes for that, but it happens, and everything happens for a reason. So, as is God's plan, I have trust and faith in the Lord, and I think that everything is going to work out. And I truly believe that. Healthcare, it's a mess, huge mess. It's always going to remain a mess. If a guy like myself who's disabled, 100% disabled, medically disabled and retired, okay, can't get a implant that is medically necessary and has been advocated for now, and the insurance company simply refuses to do it based on one thing. They get a third party now to deny you, and their denial reason, they just don't feel the insurance company should have to pay for it. And I got denied twice in a month after waiting for, go almost 4 years come January since I was hurt on the job while working at the job safely, using every precaution possible to make sure I wouldn't get hurt and or injured anywhere. And like I said, if you got poor management who don't care about their employees, and who don't care about the work environment, who don't care about the equipment, who don't keep up the equipment, who don't seem to have a grasp or realistic expectations on how hard this equipment is having to work and way of even lifting up something that's very large, let's say, okay, like a Class 8 type truck, like a semi truck or a trash truck or something like that. I'm just saying. Anyway, so besides the employment racket at this point, and YouTube turning into the Walmart of social media, wanting you to pick out your own food, and then scan your own food, bag your own food, and then take all your own food out. Yeah, that's YouTube right there. They still want you to create media and social. They want you to create content. They want you to do everything you've been doing. They just don't want you to expect to get paid for it, and they're making that abundantly clear. And hats off to some of the larger channels that are advocate and agree that this is absolute nonsense, and it is. And YouTube knows it, but they also know that with as many people that use the platform and that are on the platform are still going to contribute by making videos, and they're still going to continue to be on the platform to watch other people's videos, because it's a hard cycle to break. And people far smarter than myself, you, and many others, and even probably AI has done the same as well. It's a calculated risk. They didn't just come out of nowhere with. They're doing it for a reason. It's going to happen based on the 1st of February next year, 27. Now, maybe between now and then something will change. Maybe they'll realize that A, this is actually hurting us and we've lost a lot of viewership, or B, people will go ahead and do exactly what YouTube hopes, and that is continue to work for free, work harder to hope to get monetized, and do it at whatever cost necessary. I'm not going to be that guy. I'm going to come on Wednesday nights. I'm still going to make short form videos. I'm going to post Bible prayers every day, and I'm going to continue to encourage you to do good things. Am I going to be a happy, jolly guy all the time? Maybe, but I'm going to be honest. Not every day is full of rainbows and sunshines. There's not always unicorns and butterflies around. Okay, let's just be real here. I don't want to sit here and lie to you and paint you a picture like I'm Picasso, because that's not real life. Real life is very difficult, and not just for me or for Joe Blow or Joe the plumber or some guy that's not even named Joe. Life is difficult for a lot of people, and that doesn't mean I'm saying that to diminish any individual's situation, because like I said, everyone's situation is different. And being empathetic with one another, being able to do our best to put ourselves in another individual's shoes is something that we need to try to do. There again, I apologize for using the word try. It is something that we need to do, and we need to do a better job of understanding. And we also need to follow through with what we say. If you're going to, preach how much you care about mental health and how you need to, someone's always listening. We're always there. You just say you need help. Well, then when you go ask for help and you need help and you don't get it, do you think that discourages you from wanting to ask for help or try to seek help again? Absolutely not. If I need to go back to the doctor for the emergency room, I'll go to the veterinarian instead of going to the ER. They'll probably take better care of me there. Or I'll turn myself into the police, get incarcerated, and probably get better care and better treatment there in the police station locked up with 3 hots in a cot than I am sitting here at the hospital in an emergency room for 2 days and nobody, these trained professional doctors, and watch that video again and pay close attention. You will see there's a sign they put on my door, do not touch his legs. Why did they put that there? Because a doctor who knows nothing of my condition sat here and banged on my leg, which was the start of the big shit show of me being in pain, not getting medication, not being listened to. And was it my fault? I'll take responsibility, sure. And that's not an admission of guilt. That's just me being a big man or a bigger man, or saying, look, this is what happened, but this is why it happened. That's not an excuse. That's a legitimate reason. Huge difference. Okay. Huge difference. Oh, I didn't mean to. Sorry. All right. What you got, Alejandro? What you got, brother? Going to be every Wednesday possible. God bless. Can't wait to hang out soon. You too, brother. You're awesome, man. And like I said, you ever want to come on here, you never have to show your face, nothing like that. And that goes for anybody. You can just mic up and you'll be good. No worries. Healthcare, back at it real quick. Thank you, Alejandro, for all. Hey, thank you. Thank you for being a friend. I know we just met each other recently, but I sold my Escalade, and Alejandro, he bought it for his wife. And, when he was here earlier, excellent vehicle. He's happy enough that he came over, and, everything that we chatted about this afternoon had absolutely nothing to do with the car. I don't know that we mentioned the Escalade more than maybe once, other than the fact that, he told me that the wife's driving it and she likes it, so she's happy, and that made me happy, very happy. And he's a great guy, so I'm very fortunate to have met him. And the same goes to other individuals that I've spoken with and or communicated with, small creators, small channels. I truly appreciate everything that you guys do. Keep grinding, keep working hard, and you know what? Like I said, don't get discouraged. Don't look at this as a job. If you want to post stuff and you want to do things, continue doing them. Don't worry about the money. If you're gonna be yourself, people will find you. Kind of like if you're really good at something, you don't tell people how good you are at something, they'll tell you how good you are at something. That's how it works. Click that. When you're really good at something, you don't need to tell everybody about it. You don't need to tell anybody about it. People will let you know, and they'll let other people know. That's the way it works. So don't get discouraged about anything. Keep hanging in there. I'm easy guy to reach. I respond to everybody's comments. Nobody is too small. And when I broadcast, when I go live on Wednesdays, it's to Facebook and to both YouTube channels, Twitch, X, Instagram. I don't forget about you. And then, of course, Rumble and Kick. And then if you do want to get monetized and you haven't looked at Rumble or checked out Rumble Studio, check it out. It's very simple, very streamlined, very simple and easy to get into. Give it a try. Last thing, as far as incarceration goes, hopefully we'll have some reform sooner than later when it comes to the justice system. But between the healthcare system, the economy, surveillance. There's a lot of different battles going on and a lot of different fronts we're fighting right now. And if you are stretched too thin, just like you would be if you were fighting an actual war, then that's not a good thing. So I'm not saying do one thing, do it well in this case. I think we are more than capable of tackling rather, more than one of these items at a time. But I do truly believe that these are the most important items right now in America. Bringing back manufacturing, making it a livable country again, having jobs out there, not AI, not having to rely on it, because the more we rely on it, we are just dumbing down, and Idiocracy is not going to be just a movie. It's going to be a documentary if we continue this route. Clip that. So let's not. Let's not. Let's get more involved. Let's actually practice what we preach. If this is truly a Judeo-Christian nation, which I believe it is, then let's start acting like it. And also, since this is capitalism, then let's bring back manufacturing. No offshoring, no nearshoring, manufacturing. Fire up the furnaces, fire up the boilers, get these forges built back up. Let's get going. America's going to be open for business again. And we can do it. We can do it. And if our current leadership, and I'm not talking about this administration, but leadership, government in general, is incapable of doing their jobs and filling their obligation that they took, the oaths that they took for the people that they represent, their constituents, then they are failing and don't need to be there. And if it's a system that is that broken, then it either needs to be fixed and or replaced. Right now, I have no better options to give to you. All I can do is point out the shortcomings, shortfalls, and the issues that we all struggle with on a daily basis, and hope and pray that we can right this ship and it is not too late. And I believe that the more we are involved with each other, the more that we communicate with one another, and incorporate religion back into our lives. And it doesn't matter what religion it is, as long as you're not out there doing things and hearing messages that involve hurting or doing bad things to other people, I think you are going to be just fine. Don't try to be like anybody else. Be yourself. If people don't accept you for who you are, then don't let that discourage you either. Because somebody else doesn't agree with you, don't let it ruin your day. Because for every single person that disagrees with you or your lifestyle or how you do things, assuming that you're not doing anything bad to children or women or old people or handicapped people, you're all right. Okay? Don't do bad things. And I think we all know what we're talking about. But aside from that, let's not, be the land of the free and have more people incarcerated than anybody else. Okay, let's not do that. Let's get this reform going. We can have that worked on, I think, while we work on this economy that we're currently in. As far as the flock cameras go, I don't know what to say about that, short of they're not going anywhere. Don't get yourself in trouble for trying to destroy them, because it's just going to be a cost that's going to be right back our way. So just don't do it. Just don't destroy them. They're going to come right back, and then you're just going to be in trouble and be out money that you don't need to be paying for something that doesn't need to be there. Yes, it does not need to be there. And if it does happen to be there, then it needs to be used in a responsible way, in a responsible fashion. I have yet to see that be done. But speaking of being done, we're going to land this plane. We're going to take her down slow and easy like. I had a very good time. I thank you Again, and as always, all you guys and gals out there for giving me the opportunity to earn and keep your viewership. Thank you all so much. Instead of going the 2 hour route, unless I need to, I think we can wrap things up in about an hour, sometimes more, sometimes less, all depends. Right now, though, we're going to go ahead and land the plane, like I said, slow and easy. We're going to go ahead and wish you a good night, great rest of the evening, great rest of your week. If we go on, we'll do it again. In the meantime, Bible prayers are coming up. Ask questions. If you have anything you want to discuss, anything you want to talk about, anything on the show that topic wise interests you, I would love to hear it. Please leave some comments. And if you want, you can subscribe. You don't have to. You can hit the like button. You don't have to. And as I said before, once I hit on this channel, my 500, I'll still do as I promised. I will start doing giveaways. And yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. They say that it is better to give than to receive, and I think that is true. So, anyway, thank you once again. Have a good rest of your evening, everybody out there. God bless. And until the next one, do your best. Don't try, do.